Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to episode 43 of the Band of Barbers Podcast. I'm your host, Devon Evans. Thank you for joining us this evening. Can I ask you a question? I understand that this dialogue may not go in the way that we foresee it, but I want you to follow along with me. Barbers, I really want to know when you decided to open up your own business or start your own business, or you got behind the chair, and let's say you're an independent barber, how did you decide on your price? Did you look around at all the barbers in your area and analyze how well the other barbers may cut hair or what their prices are? Did you decide I'm going to go along with the prices of these guys because, I feel like my skill level is along the same lines? Or did you say, well, my skill level's not as good as theirs, so I'm going to charge just a little bit less. They may charge $25. I'm going to charge $20. If that's how you came up with your prices, I would dare to say that at the moment you're probably at a place where you're very upset about your pricing. You're either overbooked and overworked, or you feel like the work you're doing, as most people do in a technical skill trade, they start to become better, but their prices are in a place where they can't move, or they feel like they can't move because they may have started at one price and now they feel like they're at another rate, but they're afraid to go up because they don't understand how or what to do in order to raise their prices. Well, I'll be the first to tell you I'm sorry to that you decided to price yourself that way. And the first thing I'm going to say is that if you're in any mid-sized town, typically you will see a lot of barbers priced less than the people, the commercial people around them. And so when I say commercial people, I mean places like hair cuttery, sports clips, places like that. And now, as independent barbers, a lot of times we want to talk trash about these guys, but they have a true business model and a true system that works for them that we don't necessarily a lot of times take the time to build or even look into. We look around and we say, this is what so-and-so is charging, this is what they're charging, I'm going to charge similar or less based on where I feel to be in the industry. And can I be the first to tell you, if you don't already know, that is a terrible way to set up your business. But what if I told you that I had a simple 5-step metric that could help you to come up with and evaluate your prices? Well, guess what? I do. And today, it's going to be my goal to give you guys just what you're asking for, what you're looking for, what you've been thinking about, things like that. So in finding your price point, right? Pricing strategies, you have to understand that it's a strategy. It's not just to pick a dollar amount out of a hat. It's a strategy involved. And one of the first things that you have to do is understand your value proposition, right? You have to understand what sets you apart and what allows you to charge the price that you are going to charge, right? And this is some of those personal things where the personal development comes into place, because you're doing an introspective act, right? You have to take yourself out of the picture and look at yourself from a third eye, and you have to understand how to communicate and enhance your perceived value for your barbering service, right? And you have to do things like mastering the client consultation and to showcasing your unique and technical skills, right? In that place and dealing with that value proposition, you're going to have to work on the client consultation. Listen, the client consultation is so important, right? Before you put the clippers to a client's head or the shears to a client's head, you and the client need to come to an agreement about the service that you're going to provide, right? And I will say this is a belief. You can never ask too many questions. I find myself, and I will tell you, as a barber, and especially as a young barber, when clients didn't have things such as maybe a picture, they didn't understand the name of the haircut, they didn't know all of that kind of stuff. When clients did those sort of things, okay, and they didn't have the right information, they didn't speak the barber lingo, and I kind of went off of what they told me, I'll be honest, a lot of times I became very, very confused. Very confused. And the confusion set in within the haircut. I'm replaying while I'm cutting the hair, I'm replaying the consultation in my head. So I'm looking at it and I'm saying, okay, hey, wait a second. So he wants a low fade, but he doesn't want to take the bulk out of the sides. He doesn't want to do this, and he doesn't want to do. Now my brain has a certain image of what I would do, but I confuse myself based on what the client has asked for. And so what ends up happening is, or what would end up happening is, I would be nervous to ask for re-clarifying questions. Once you finish the consultation, if you get to a point in the haircut and you feel that you don't know what's going on, ask questions. Don't just attempt to fight this battle on your own. And a lot of young barbers will do that. They don't understand what the client is asking for. They don't get it. And so they just try to give the best that they could possibly give based the best service they could possibly give based on what they understood the client to ask. They didn't ask for clarifying questions. They didn't look for pictures. If the client doesn't have a picture, you don't have a picture, pull out your phone, search up what you think that it may be, show them a picture and ask them. If this is what you're looking for, okay, cool. Now I understand how to do this, what's going on, so on and so forth. But when you don't do things like that, you set yourself up to be in a very peculiar situation, right? You set yourself up to just for failure. I'm gonna be honest with you. You set yourself up to be upset. You're upset, client's upset, nobody likes what's going on, all because you didn't want to ask questions in the beginning of the service to clarify what is going on. Okay? You just didn't. You didn't. So you need to work on your client consultation. Hey, my client consultation is very simple, and I'll explain it to you. I put the client in the chair. I dress the client, neck strip, cape, everything like that. I pump the chair up 2 or 3 pumps, and I turn the client towards the mirror. I stand beside the client and I ask them, what are we looking to do today? And they, explain whatever. Hey, I just want to fade on the sides. Okay, you want to fade on the sides. You want it to the skin? Do you want it to the skin or do you just want it close? I just want it close. Okay. Now, do you want like a number 1 on the sides or just like almost bald but not bald? Just above almost bald. Just above almost bald. All right. Do you want the and I'll take my comb or sometimes I'll take my finger and I'll say, all right, do you want a low, mid, or high fade? And I show the starting points of where I would put the ball line based on their head shape, based on the hairstyle that they're requesting. And I showed them, all right, this is what it would look like. This is where the bald would be from here down on a low fade. The bald would be from here down on a mid fade. Ball would be from so and so on a high fade. And I showed them all these things. You get clarification on that. Okay. Once we discuss the sides, because typically they talk about the sides before they talk about the top. All right. Well, on the top, do you normally get scissors on top if they've got, longer hair? You normally get scissors on top. You get clippers on top. What are we going to do? Well, I like to get scissors on top. Maybe take a half an inch off or an inch off, and or clients will typically say, just trim the top up and maybe get some weight out of it. Okay, we want to trim the top up. When we want to trim the top up, do we want to get, are we talking about an inch? Are we talking about half an inch? Maybe 2 inches. Well, that's a little longer than the trim. Okay, yeah, but let's do about 2 inches. Okay, we could do 2 inches. Do you want how do you plan on wearing your hair once you leave today? Well, I kind of lay it all to the front. All right, that tells me how I need to cut this hair. Okay, you want to lay it all to the front. There isn't so many questions, and this flows pretty fast, guys. Like this is not. It's a longer interaction based on you listening to me, but this flows very fast. It's not a long. It's not a long process, right? And like I said, I've got the client facing the mirror. And so as the client is talking, sometimes typically I have a few clients that'll grab their own hair. Like if they want to trim on the top, they'll grab their own hair, lift their hair up, and they'll say, hey, I'm going to cut about this much off. Cool. I know what that is. All right. If they're not interactive like that within the consultation, then I will step behind them when they start talking about trimming the top. I'll I'll section the hair off, grab a piece of hair, and I say, hey, what do we think about this much? Is this a good length for you? Yeah, that's a good length for me. So on and so forth. Quick, guys. I'll be honest. I think my longest consultation to date may be 3 or 4 minutes. Maybe 3 or 4 minutes. On average, my consultation is like 30 seconds to like 2 minutes, maybe. I'd probably say a minute. About 30 seconds to a minute. I'm asking all these questions within this time, right? They're talking to me. They're flowing with me. I know what's going on. I'm asking all these questions. My newer clients or walk-in clients, if I haven't cut them before, consultation may be a little bit longer. But for the guys that I cut on a regular basis, making appointments, things like that, I typically know what they want. and we just kind of flow. We kind of flow through it. Then from there, I take their vision that they've envisioned, and I put my vision with their vision of what I put my vision actually with their directions, and voila, like there it goes, right? I showcase my skills based on what they've asked for, right? I've showcased that. Hey, I want to take the top down. All right, how do you wear it? Like I said, I want to wear it to the front. Well, to the front, I'm gonna add a little bit of texture. That's gonna lighten up the hair some and take some of the weight out of the hair. But it's also gonna give you a more stylish look, and it's gonna be less of this straight, bone straight look, right? Um, and I use that to do that. So based on that consultation, I'm telling them like, hey, I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm talking about. This, that, and the third, right? You will get yourself into trouble. I have gotten myself into trouble based on poor consultations. And so will you. If you don't do a thorough consultation, you will get yourselves in trouble. Because when you don't do thorough consultations, it shows the client that you aren't listening to them. And what does this have to do with price? Well, if your price is set at a certain number, if your price is maybe set at, $20, and you've got people coming to you, but you're not listening to them, you're not doing full consultations, they're going to leave because they're going to want a desired outcome that they feel like they told you, but you didn't take the time to actually understand what they're saying or what they're asking for. So now they never come back, right? You didn't get a chance to show your skills because you're so confused because you didn't finish or complete the consultation properly. And so now they're not going to come back. Right? Your value, like the consultation is so important. The clients are coming to you and trusting you to provide a service and give them what they're asking for. How do you give them what they ask for? Listen to them during their consultation. Question things that you don't understand. If you get into a place, when I used to fully do a haircut and a beard separately, I don't necessarily do that anymore. I try if I'm fading the beard, doing something like that, I try to do everything I can with the clippers or with the scissors in my hand at one time. If I got guards on, if I'm using the number one guard and I know that I'm gonna need the number one guard in the beard somewhere, or in the beard, I'm gonna use the number one guard all around the head and I'm gonna hit the beard too. But when I used to do them separately, cut the haircut, then the beard. When I did those things separately, I would do a small mini consultation in between the two. Why would I do that? Because if I've spent 20 minutes cutting their hair, I want them to understand, like, I just check in with them, like, hey, so what do we say we're going to do on the beard again? Keep it high, knock it down just a little bit, get the wild hairs out of it, so on and so forth. Move on forward. And that's just, kind of how we do it, kind of how I like to do it now. It helps me speed up. So that's part of your value proposition, like establishing that relationship in the beginning from the consultation makes the client more comfortable, makes you more comfortable. So when you're looking at your pricing strategy, you have to think about, am I truly giving the clients what they're asking for? Right? If and let me say this. I don't know if they ever have, but as far as I know, um, McDonald's has never made a pizza. And follow me with this. Okay? But if you went to McDonald's and you asked for a double quarter pounder with cheese, and you get through the line, you order, you pay, you get your food, they give it to you, they hand it to you out the window, and then you're driving down the road and you open up the box and there's a pizza in there, you'd be upset, right? You would be upset. Ordering your food from a restaurant or ordering your food from McDonald's is just as important as a client consultation. The person taking your order is providing a consultation. What would you like today? I want this, 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 and this. Okay, thank you. We'll get that. It'll be this much. We'll get that right out to you. Drive to the next window, pay. Right? You're trusting and believing that they got your order correct, your consultation correct. You don't see what they're, especially if you're in a drive-through, you don't see what they're doing. The most that you can probably see is them making drinks. Do you see them making the burger? No. Do you see them making the fries? No. You don't see any of that from the window. But you're trusting them that they're gonna do that. And for a lot of barbers typically like to cut with their back, the client facing away from the mirror. So just like you can't see what's going on in the kitchen when you go to McDonald's, they typically can't see what's going on either. Now they may see with bits and pieces of it throughout the haircut if they turn and look at the mirror while you're moving them around because the chair swivels, while you're moving around or something like that. They may catch a glimpse, but they're not going to see it all. And when you get to the end, you hand them the mirror and they're looking at it and they're like, oh my God, this is not what I asked for. You gave them a pizza and they asked for a burger. Okay? So understand that in your price, in your price, thinking about your price, your skill set and your client consultation are probably two of the most important things that you can possibly do. All right. And um you know what, guys? I really and truly feel like I wanted to give you all 5 points today, but I am I don't think that that's going to be I don't think that that's going to be good because I've got a lot to say about all of this. So we're going to break this up into 5 different parts. Today was the first part, right? Today was talking about your value proposition. Okay, your value proposition is it's so important, right? And notice that we talked about the client consultation before we ever talked about the skills. Pay attention to that. Right? I've said to you before, most people don't actually care how well you cut their hair. Some people come to the barbershop to get a haircut, just like you take um just like you take Advil when you get a headache, or Tylenol when you get a headache. What do I mean by that? It's almost like a medical thing. They just know their hair is too long. I don't like it. It's getting out of hand. Make it look decent. Cut it off. Bring it down, because I need it to look right. I need it to look okay, because what it looks like right now is not okay. What a lot of people are asking for. They're not asking to look like a movie star. They're saying, please give me, I'm trusting you with my hair. Please give me the best that you could possibly give me. In exchange for that, I'm willing to pay you X amount of dollars, or what your asking price is. Right? That value proposition is so underrated. So underrated. And a lot of barbers I see that struggle don't have good client consultation. And let me tell you what a client consultation will cost you. A client consultation will cost you a client, because, like I said, that client when you don't give them the desired result, whether it's due to your skills or whatever it may be, when you do not give them the desired result that they're asking for, they're upset. And they may not outright say it. Some will. They may not outright say it to you. But for some of them, it's I heard today, and I heard today somebody talking about it. They were talking about restaurants, and they said a restaurant has one time to provide me with bad service or bad food, and I will never go again. If you can't get at least the service right, the customer service right, they will never go again. And for a lot of barbers behind the chair, yeah, you think that you just losing clients because you losing clients. No, you losing clients because you didn't give them what they asked for. Whether that's the style that they asked for, whether it's whether it's being present and on time for your appointment, or it's like you didn't give them what they asked for. It's just that simple, guys. It is just that simple. So again, before we close here, ensure you give a quality consultation that leaves the client informed of what you're about to do, and it leaves you informed of what they're asking for. All right? And once you do that, then you can showcase all of your skills, because once you have a clear picture of what they're asking for, they provided you a clear picture of what they're asking for, you can now go to work. Do you understand? Client consultation, then you show your skills. Don't be trying to show your skills during a consultation. It's just silly. You're not even yes, you're doing things, but you're not even doing anything. Don't show your technical jargon understanding of something. These are common people who are looking to get a haircut. They're not barbers. That's why they're coming to one, most of them. Some barbers do go to other barbers, but for the most part, they're not barbers. All the things that you understand about barbering, they don't. Right? They don't. It's just like the debate, and I'll give you a prime example. Barbers go out here and we buy all these new clippers like we're buying Jordans. Right? And I dare to say to you, besides sometimes you might get a little something fugazi, but if you're dealing with a high quality manufacturer or something, like you're dealing with someone who is high quality, what's the difference between maybe what's the difference between this clipper, and now of course these Chinese knockoffs are so big. If you can make the Chinese knockoff perform at the rate of a $200 clipper at the fraction of the price, right? Sometimes 10-20% of the price. But if you can make it function at a fraction of the price, you think the barber cares? Barber not coming in there asking the client. Sorry, the client. You think the client cares? The client's not coming in there asking you, "Hey, what type of tools do you use?" I can tell you that it is few and far between that I have ever had a client ask me what type of tools that I use. And the few that did, they were honestly interested in being barbers or the barbering industry as a whole. And I can count as many people that have asked me about the tools on one hand. You know what most of them ask? Not about the tools. First thing they want to know is how long you have been, for a lot of them, how long have you been cutting hair? That's what they want to know, because what they're telling you is, I'm a little bit nervous. Can you tell me how long you've been doing this? That's what they're asking for. That's what they want. They want to know, how long have you been doing this? Because they're concerned about your skill level, because they may have got burnt by another barber somewhere else. All right, this client consultation develops opportunities to build a relationship with the client in the chair. It also based on, and I'll give you a secret. I'll give you some game. Based on how the client responds during the client consultation, generally it will kind of tell me what they're about, who they are as a person, and things of that nature. What type of conversations are we going to have in the chair? All of that I can grasp from the client consultation based on how they speak, how they handle themselves, like things like that. I can generally tell what this service is going to be like, and how they're going to interact during our service. So many cheats, guys. There's so many cheats, and I will. I really need you to understand that. I really need you to understand that. So again, guys, thank you for tuning in today. This has been another episode of the Band of Barbers Podcast. Please tune in. I know I said I was going to give you 5 things, but I was only able to give you 1 because it was so in depth. So what we're going to do, like I said, from here on out, is we're going to break it down. We got 5 things to talk about today. We talked about number 1, value proposition. your skill set and your client consultation need to be immaculate. Well, they need to be good. I won't say immaculate. Immaculate is a hard place to strive for. You should be striving, but it's a place that you probably will never truly find inconsistency. Okay, but your customer service is one thing as a whole, and not your customer service. Sorry, your customer consultation is one thing as a whole that you can develop, grow, and your clients will appreciate it. Give them what they ask. You give them what they ask for. The same way you ask for $25, $30, $35, $40 for a haircut, and they're willing to pay that. They're willing to pay what you have asked them for providing this service. If they're willing to pay that, then I need you to be willing to give them what they ask for. All right. Thank you guys for tuning in tonight. It's been great. It's been real, but it's time for me to go to bed. I will catch you guys tomorrow. Episode 44. Unbelievable that we have made it this far. I thank you guys, as always, for tuning in. It's been great. It's been real. Have a good night.